What's up, motherfuckers? That's right. It's another video on the same day. Hater Mania Zero just keeps on going. Hate apocalypse up in this bitch. All right, the next video we have here on deck is 25 reasons why AEW is trying to be like WWE, motherfuckers. Enough of this bullshit. Oh, AEW is new and edgy. AEW is an alternative. Really? Because it just feels like Vince McMahon decided to start another show. Call it AEW and plug it in Wednesdays just for the hell of it. Because it feels exactly the same as WWE in all the wrong parts, motherfuckers. Let's start the list up in this. Reason 1, they copied WWE's female push with their female ref. All right, this is the first of many reasons, but a very low-key one that people may have not noticed, right? This whole women's revolution thing is completely fabricated. Now, I, as a feminist myself, that's right, motherfuckers, that's right. The hater is a feminist. Not this kind of new feminist, though. I'm just a feminist in the context of women should be treated as equals. You know, we should not be holding anybody down. But by that same virtue, we should not be propping up someone just by virtue of the fact that they're a woman or if they're a minority or if anything like that. Everyone should be treated equal. Martin Luther King, motherfuckers, he said very, very clearly, I have a dream. He said, I have a dream up in this. And the dream is that people are judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. We can extrapolate this to other things other than color of skin, like religion, gender, and all that other stuff, right? How about if you're good, you get pushed up. If you suck, you get pushed down. It's as simple as that. A meritocracy, motherfuckers. Capitalism. You understand what I'm saying? So here we have a situation where, despite the fact that wrestlers like Becky Lynch, and honestly, even Charlotte Flair, but like Sasha Banks, Bayley, these women are jobbers, man. They're not interesting. They're not fun when compared to women, but definitely when compared to the male superstars. Like, you cannot tell me that Becky Lynch is going to put on a better match in any capacity than, I don't know, name a WWE jobber like Akira Tozawa. Who is better in the ring, honestly? Becky Lynch or Akira Tozawa? Obviously, the answer is Akira Tozawa, right? Obviously, Drew Gulak is better than Sasha Banks. Like, they're benefiting from the fact that they're women because that's what's hot now. What's hot now is let's push women to the moon, and even when they're not as good, pretend they're as good. That's the only concern I have with this. As a feminist up in this, motherfuckers, as a real one, as a real feminist, someone that has studied feminism and social theory for a long, long time, bitches, you know? But I've always been a pariah. In all those contexts, I've always been like the guy, you're too conservative and all these other things. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just saying it like it is, man. I'm actually going with what MLK and other great thinkers like him have said, that we must judge people based on their abilities. This leads us to the female ref, Audrey Edwards, whatever the fuck her name is. You know, they keep saying, oh, she's the best one for the job. You know, maybe she is. I don't really know anything about refereeing. Maybe she's the best ref, you know? Or like even in kayfabe, they can just present her as like the best ref. Like, that's whatever. It's a made-up sport. So the best ref is the person you say is the best ref. Like, was Earl Hebner better than Mike Chioda back in the day? No, he was just Earl Hebner. Like, that's the one they decided was like the senior official or whatever, right? So I'm cool with that. But I don't like the fact that it's forced. They're doing it in order to seem as progressive as WWE is, because one of their marketing strategies is to be as progressive as possible. You know, that's why they have people like Sonny Kiss and Nyla Rose. Now, I have nothing against Sonny Kiss and Nyla Rose. I'm actually, like, when I see Sonny Kiss, I'm like, all right, like, it's a shit gimmick. It's a shit, persona. But at least it's a persona. Like, Sonny Kiss is better than Sammy Guevara, you know what I mean? Right? And Nyla Rose, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, she's a man, she's a woman, who gives a fuck? I really don't care at all. That's none of my business. All I care about is that recently, Nyla Rose has been booked in a situation where she's putting people through tables left and right, and I dig that. That's all I care about. I can't hold that against Nyla Rose, the fact that she's transgender. That's not fair. You know, like, Nyla Rose wants to be a wrestler and wants to be a woman. So either, according to some, either she has to go wrestle the men or not at all. But to me, that's the beauty of pro wrestling. Because it's fake, she can wrestle whoever she wants. Because it's fake, Great Khali can go and wrestle Hornswoggle. They're both men, but the discrepancy between Great Khali and Hornswoggle is greater than the discrepancy between Nyla Rose and Britt Baker. You know what I mean? So I don't care about that. As long as it's fake and she doesn't accidentally hurt anybody, which is a different issue, I'm cool with it. But what I'm not cool with is that this is a complete copy of WWE's female push. So clearly what happened, in my opinion at least, is this. Cody Rhodes was like, wouldn't it be great if we are the ones to have the first female wrestler to main event a pay-per-view? And the problem with this, as a referee, of course, a female referee, I should say. The problem with this is that they're not doing it for the right reasons. Right? They're not doing it for like this woman worked her way up and she earned it. They're doing it just to get like some quick publicity, right? Same way that they did it by hiring Nyla Rose. I don't buy into this. Oh, we didn't know she was like a transsexual, whatever the fuck they're called now. We just did it by act. Get the fuck out of here. I don't believe that shit for a second. So that's reason one. They copied WWE's female push with their female ref. I am not a fan of the women's evolution or revolution because it's forced, and not forced just on a social level, but forced on a wrestling level. Like, it's not good wrestling, man. Becky Lynch is not a good wrestler. It's as simple as that. She's not good enough to be in a WWE main event. Absolutely not. I think that WrestleMania, they had like Tony Nese versus, I don't know, Buddy Murphy, the guy who sucks. But that's probably, like, those two guys are better in the ring than Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey and Charlotte combined. And by the way, motherfuckers, this all like, oh, Ronda Rousey is a legit athlete. Yeah, she's all right, you know? Oh, she would beat up Buddy Murphy. No, she wouldn't, motherfuckers. He would knee her in the face and it would be over. There are certain things that you can't teach, like height and strength, and you can't teach that. Next, we've spent a lot of time on reason one, so we're going to have to speed through these a little bit. But not this one. We're not speeding through this one. Reason two. Cody Rhodes has made himself an executive vice president as, in my opinion, as part of his ongoing, we'll call it an inferiority complex and desire to be Triple H, right? He's Triple H as the man in WWE, and he, I'm sure since a young age, understood that Triple H is more of a man than Cody Rhodes. And that's, in my opinion, when the inferiority complex was born. And his desire to be Triple H started, right? He knows he'll never be Triple H, so he thinks maybe if like a few neckbeards think, oh, he broke a throne with a hammer, oh, isn't that great? He thinks that is gonna be what gets rid of this inferiority complex, but it hasn't. The reality is probably when he and Brandy Rhodes are in the bedroom, you know what I'm saying, doing some of the bedroom calisthenics, he probably pretends that Brandy is Stephanie McMahon, and he pretends that he himself is Triple H. Because I don't think he can get it up unless he pretends he is Triple H, a real man, motherfuckers. Reason number three. Cody Rhodes cut a Ric Flair promo with the watch and the money. It's the same exact promo that Ric Flair cut back in the day, I think in WCW. And it's derivative, and he stole it directly from WWE or WCW. Same shit. WWE owns them some bitches, so it doesn't matter. Reason four. Cody Rhodes has a Ric Flair dye job. I don't like it. Nobody should. Ric Flair drip go woo on a bitch. You understand what I'm saying? Or in this case, Ric Flair dick go ooh in Cody. You understand me, motherfuckers? Reason five. Young Bucks. The Young Bucks are pretend Hardy Boys. All right, it's clear as day. When they first started, the Hardy Boys were still like in their early 30s, and the Young Bucks clearly wanted to be the Hardy Boys. Except they're not cool enough to be the Hardy Boys. They don't have the good guy charm, right, of Matt Hardy. They don't have that like underdog charm that Matt Hardy has, and they don't have the dark charisma that Jeff Hardy always has had. Nor are they as innovative as the Hardy Boys. I'll give them props. The Young Bucks are innovative, but they're not as innovative as the Hardy Boys because they just started doing a little bit things that are a bit more extreme after the Hardy Boys pushed like that style, I think, onto the mainstream, in my opinion. Oh, but Hater, Super Crazy was doing it in ECW. Yeah, no one cared. When the Hardy Boys started doing it, that's when people started being like, oh, this is cool, right? The Hardy Boys were legit cool, and a lot of wrestlers grew up idolizing them, I am sure. Reason number six. The young cucks are also pretend Shawn Michaels as Shawn Michaels is. They're pretend HBKs, motherfuckers. They're just pretend. They do the super kick. They try to do this, like, they do this little pose, but, like, that's what it is. It's, if you can't do it seriously, like when Shawn Michaels does the little Shawn Michaels pose, when he, like, bends the knee and flexes his muscles, when he does that, right, you see his arms and they're jacked. right? Shredded, man. You just see like the muscle connected to the bone. That's how shredded he was, right? Young Bucks do it ironically. They don't do it ironically because, oh, we're just like HBK, aren't we? They do it ironically because they can't do it seriously. You understand me? They know it's the same thing. They know they're inferior as human beings to Shawn Michaels. So when they do it, they're like, oh, this looks stupid. So let's pretend we're in on the joke that it's stupid so that we seem cooler than we are. Motherfuckers, it's not gonna fly. Reason 7, Jericho's championship celebration a few weeks ago is the same thing as every other Jericho over-the-top segment he's done on WWE, right? It's the same exact thing. It is a derivative segment. They just did what WWE does with Jericho, and that's not different. That's the same, motherfuckers. Reason 8, Jericho's reinvention of himself is false. I keep hearing, oh, Jericho's reinvented himself so many times. He does the Judas effect, which is a new finisher, which is part of reinventing yourself. But beyond that, he's the same guy. You know, like, he wears like the flashy suit and the sunglasses, and he cuts the "I'm better than you" promo. I'm the best in the world at what I do promo, right? That's what he does. Now, sometimes when he wrestles, he wears the face paint, and I give him props for that, right? And he has quote unquote morphed his body to look more tough. In other words, he's gained weight. Let's just call it what it is. Reason number 9, the lexicon of Jericho, motherfuckers. Totally shameless copying of the list of Jericho that Jericho used to do. This is inexcusable in my opinion. It's again, they're going under the irony thing. You know what I mean? They're going under like the haha, he did this in WWE, so we're gonna do it here just to kind of make fun of it. But the reality is they're just out of creative ideas. So they have to steal something, and they know they can easily spin it through irony, right? Irony, the nectar and ambrosia of the neckbeard. You know what I'm saying? They can spin it as something that's like, you know, tongue in cheek, when in reality they just don't know what else to do anymore. It's done, man. You know? So there you go. And by the way, just so we're clear, a lexicon, they can try to redefine it as if it's like a list. It's not a list. A lexicon is more of like a language or like a vocabulary. You understand what I'm saying? Like people say like, oh, this word entered the lexicon. No, it didn't enter a list. It entered the language, the concept. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to sit here and take that apart anymore because I can see why you could use it as a synonym for list, but it really doesn't mean that at all, motherfuckers. Reason 10, the natural Dustin Rhodes wears paint to harken back to his Goldust days when he was mildly relevant. At some point this week, I was on YouTube and I saw a video. It was Santino Marella and Beth Phoenix challenging John Cena to an intergender tag match, right? Or whatever, a mixed tag match, whatever the fuck it's called, right? Intergender probably means something else nowadays. So John Cena was like, oh, he's like, I see. And then Santino's like, you can pick any partner you want, John Cena, right? And Cena's like, okay, he turns around and you have Goldust there wearing a wig, right? And Goldust is like, oh, pick me, pick me. And Cena's like, and they all look at him like, what the fuck is this weirdo talking about? And then Santino says, he's like, I correct myself. Pick anyone with ovaries. And then they pan the camera to Goldust and he's like disappointed. He's like, oh man, like I don't have ovaries, right? Like, that's the guy that's now a serious wrestler. The guy who was like this transvestite weirdo is now a serious wrestler. Now, I know that the real Dustin Rhodes is not like a pussy at all. You can tell he's like a man's man. But that's besides the point. The point is that they have to scrape the barrel for the jobbers and make them serious. Which, once again, shows that they're just obsessed with WWE. But we're going to get to that's the final reason. Reason number 11. AEW bash at the beach, motherfuckers. All right, one of my good friends here in one of the videos pointed out that apparently Cody Rhodes bought the trademark. He bought the trademark to bash at the beach when it expired from WWE. Cool. All right, that means it's his. I get it. That doesn't change the fact, of course, that he is still deriving this from WWE, right? Oh, but his father created it. I don't care. His father created it while under the employment of another company. So it's kind of like a lot of people think like, you know, like Thomas Edison, he has like a lot of inventions to his name, right? A lot of them aren't his inventions, right? And people are like, oh, he didn't invent this. No, but what he did was he created like whatever, Edison Industries, whatever the fuck it was called, right? And he hired inventors, paid them a salary, and then when they invented things, it belonged to the company. That's how it works, motherfuckers. Like, do you think Steve Jobs is the one that sat down and designed the iPad or the iPod? No, he has a team of engineers that he employs that do it. But the iPod belongs to Apple. Same thing. except for the fact that this does belong to Cody because it's a trademark or a copyright. So he apparently has the rights to that, if we're going to believe what my good friend said on the YouTube comment, which I do believe. I have no reason to doubt it. The problem with that, of course, is that instead of creating his own new ideas, Cody Rhodes and AEW are stuck on trying to replicate what WWE has done to success. There will be some fans that watch Bash at the Beach and incorrectly think it's a WCW or a WWE pay-per-view, and they will buy it for that reason. Then they will tune in and they'll be like, what the fuck? Who the hell is Sammy Guevara? I want my money back immediately. So that's another reason why AEW clearly is trying to be WWE. Reason number 12. They rest on Dusty Rhodes' laurels, which will forever be associated with WWE no matter what they do. Dusty Rhodes will always be primarily a WWE guy. All right? So they can try to do whatever they want. It's not going to work. Reason 13. I noticed this recently. They've signed Dasha Fuentes, I believe. I think they now call her Dasha Gonzalez. Now, this is a possibility. This is another person called Dasha, right? But I doubt it, right? Dasha is not really a common name, and I haven't heard of Dasha in WWE anymore. So I can only assume that this is the same Dasha, and they just rebranded her Dasha Gonzalez because that might be her real name, or because Dasha Fuentes obviously is like a bullshit name that WWE created, like a ring name type of thing. So there we have it. I will say, though, that when I saw Dasha Gonzalez talk with Tony Schiavone, as Jericho says, she did look really good. So I appreciate them signing her. I confuse her with Charlie Caruso because like I don't give a rat's ass about these women. But bring back Lillian Garcia, motherfuckers. So anyways, that's another reason they're trying. If it's the same Dasha, they're clearly trying to be like just like WWE by signing the same women. They don't even have like the resources or the ability to go find another one to replace her. They're just like, oh, this one, she'll do. You know, she was in WWE. That's her experience, man. Reason 14, they've signed JR Jim Ross, motherfuckers, and he keeps burying them. Every time JR opens his mouth, it's to bury AEW. He's like, this person didn't go for the cover. This is stupid. Emi Sakura has a mic during the match. This is ridiculous. He just makes fun of them while on commentary. He might be a plant, a spy from WWE. Vince McMahon's probably like, hey, JR, go there and just bury them completely, you know? So anyways, that is what it is. Reason number 15, motherfuckers. Cody's character, quote-unquote character, is the guy who was never cool enough to be an Evolution. That's what he is. His character is he's Evolution. He's this like suit wearing, like limousine riding. He's none of those things. He's a nerd, right? If you were an Evolution, he'd be the guy that they all bully. You know, he'd be their young boy. It would be ridiculous. Reason number 16. They literally imitated the Britt Baker reaction that she had on NXT when Adam Cole got put through a table. They imitated that when Nyla Rose put some jobber through a table. Now, this is ridiculous. You're legit gonna imitate the same reaction. That's like after one of your people puts another wrestler through a table. In other words, all you're doing is saying like, here WWE, you did this one thing that was pretty cool off the cage. We're going to do something a lot less cool and have the same reaction. Like, how does that not make everyone cringe simultaneously? It's stupid, man. It's dumb. All right. Reason 17. The similarities between Brandy and Cody and Triple H and Stephanie are severe, motherfuckers. We've touched on this a little bit when I insinuated that Cody Rhodes has to pretend he's Triple H probably when he's in bed. But it goes beyond that, right? It goes beyond that. Brandy Rhodes is the Triple H of the relationship. She is the one that got in on AEW through nepotism, right? They would never sign her by herself. They signed her because she's Cody's wife. Same thing. A lot of people say Triple H is where he is because he's Stephanie's husband, which is probably true, let's be honest, right? Another reason, Triple H and Stephanie are presented as a WWE power couple because they are. They are because Triple H is a multiple-time champion and they're now executives. The exact same thing is being said about Cody and Brandy, except they are not as good as Triple H and Steph. I will give credit where credit's due. Brandy is a very beautiful woman. I'm not going to lie. She is a very attractive woman. So that's one up that they got on them is Brandy is better looking than Stephanie, who's not bad looking at all by any means. But Brandy is a very beautiful woman. So other than that, they're not an it couple at all. because they don't have the power or influence that Triple H and Stephanie have. Triple H and Stephanie are actual executives. They're actual executives in a very successful company. Cody and Brandy are pretend executives in a bullshit company, right? Like, best believe, if Tony Khan or the other, or his, more importantly, his father, if his father took it seriously, he would be like, get rid of these idiots. These people don't know anything about business. And he would put in his own people, which I'm sure he has many, because you don't become a billionaire without people that are doing work for you. He would just be like, get these people out, probably get rid of his own son as well. And he'd be like, put in this CEO, this CFO, this branding officer, this, that. But no, they're pretend ones. Triple H and Stephanie have grown up in the business and really understand it. Cody Rhodes has not grown up in the business, quote unquote. He might understand wrestling on a wrestling level, but as a businessman, he knows nothing about that as far as we know. And Brandy's even worse. She's not even like the daughter of Dusty Rhodes. So who the fuck knows what she knows about business? Anyways, they're trying to be Triple H and Steph, and it's not working. Reason 18, motherfuckers. Reason 18. All their storylines and characters are derived from WWE. Their storylines have all been done in WWE before. Brandy Rhodes shaving that girl's head is straight edge society. Any kind of cultish thing is Ministry of Darkness. Aside from the analogs that we already spoke about, like Young Bucks being the Hardy Boys and Cody Rhodes being whatever the fuck he is. They're also relying a lot on former WWE manager types like Tully Blanchard and DDP and these people that they just bring in for an appearance, right? In order to kind of push this like we're legit agenda. Look, Tully Blanchard, don't you remember him as the fourth most relevant horseman? You know what I mean? Don't you remember him as like the guy who was even less than Arn Anderson, who was way less than Ric Flair? You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to give off this impression that they're like more important than they are, and this impression that they're more WWE than they like to admit. Reason 19, Tyedillenger, beyond the fact that he's a WWE jobber, he stole the chairman gimmick from Edge and Christian. Now, for those of you that don't know, that did not watch wrestling back in the day, for a while, Edge and Christian would hit people with chairs in a move that they called the concerto, by the things, which was really, really clever in my opinion. And for a while, they started calling themselves the chairman of WWE. Tyedillenger stole this completely, and he is now the chairman of AEW. So, complete ripoff, 100%. Reason 20, they had Bret Hart, a WWE legend, present the AEW title, as if this title gets prestige if held by a WWE guy to be given to another WWE guy, Chris Jericho, when he wins the match. Reason 21, they got DDP to present the ring in the little, whatever, dynamite dozen ring, whatever the fuck they did, right, where MJF won. DDP, another WWE guy, of course, more so a WCW guy, but doesn't matter. Still not an AEW guy, still someone who made the majority of his money in what is now WWE, or what is now controlled or owned by WWE, motherfuckers. Reason 22, despite their attempts to differentiate with this bullshit ranking system, AEW are doing WWE-style booking, involving things like Jungle Boy getting a title shot for no reason other than the fact that he's a loser, you know? And Jericho wants to fight him. Same shit. WWE booking, WWE, everything is WWE basically. Reason 23, the Khans play the role of the McMahons in the storyline as the financiers and the real authority figures. Tony Khan is basically Vince McMahon. He doesn't show up anymore, but he is the one that allegedly runs the show, right? There was that moment where he told Dean Ambrose, like, oh, like, we're not going to sanction your match. It's the same shit. It's the same exact structure, man. Same exact thing. We're not like WWE. The fans are going to have creative control. Will they? Will they really? Is their creative control do the exact same thing that we did in WWE? Because it's not creatively different. And it sure shit is not creatively better. Reason 24. They got Earl Hebner, and he is a WWE guy and a TNA Hall of Famer. Earl Hebner is now the referee. He's a WWE guy. And reason 25, the most important reason of all their main guys are some form of WWE wrestling. Either they're a WWE legend like Jericho, but more likely they're a WWE jobber like Cody Rhodes, Jack Swagger, Dustin Rhodes, Tyedillenger, fucking Dean Ambrose. It's just the rejects, man. Like Dean Ambrose, clearly the third best guy in the Shield, is now like the biggest deal in WWE in AEW, right? It's just a bunch of jobbers, man. Trent Beretta, there's so many of them, and then this is all taught by the fact that Cody Rhodes. I've said this before, but it's a reboot, so it doesn't count. Cody Rhodes said before, he said about 5% of the WWE roster would have a job in AEW. Word. In other words, the implications are that if you take WWE roster of the last 10 years, in that 5% would be Goldust, Cody Rhodes, Jack Swagger, Trent Beretta, Tyedillenger. These guys would be in the top 5%. Are you? That is so ridiculous that it doesn't even like. I shouldn't even say anything more about that. The mere suggestion that people like Trent Beretta, and fucking Tyedillenger are in the 5% of anything. They're not even the top 5% of AEW, let alone the top 5% of WWE. It's ridiculous, man. It's just stupid. So anyways, that being said, that has been your 25 reasons why AEW is trying to be WWE, motherfuckers. All right. We're still going to do some more videos, man. The marathon continues to pin this piece. All right, motherfuckers.